G'day world, and welcome to Stuff We Do, where we do all the knife stuff you love. Knife reviews, knife tests, knife modifications, and outdoor stuff with knives. This one might be a little longer today because today I'm going to show you my soiree into knife making. Okay. When I was younger, I tried to make a few knives. Okay, so I bought my 1x30 little belt grinder and whatnot, and I bought myself a few pieces of 14C28N steel and 19C27, and I went at knife making. Okay, before that, everybody tries to make knives, and I used machete blades and all kinds of other pieces of metal, but these are the only ones that I actually, I'm lying to you. I have loads of improvised knives and knife-shaped objects. Okay, but these are a few of my knives that I made over the years, and that, I feel kind of happy with. Okay, and then one that I got from a friend, because he's actually the guy that introduced me to this whole actual knife making thing. Okay, so this, first up, was my Charles Greef original. He made this little skinner, and the light, of course, again. You can see there's a little bit of bumpiness in there, beautiful brass bolsters. I don't know what this is. I think I said this was a sleeper, like a railway sleeper that he used for the handle, but still an extremely functional skinning knife. Okay, so this knife I will cherish forever, as I got this from him, and it was one of his first knives that he ever made. Today his knives looks way better than this one. Not that I say this one is looking bad, this one is a fantastic knife, but yeah, as with everything in life, we evolve and we get better the more we do something. Okay, my first ever knife that I made on a belt grinder. Look at this wonderful patterns on my sheath, also self-made, and some stitching and two of these brassy looking rivet things. I'm not 100% why I thought this was the best way to do it, but anyway. And then the handle is made from what do you call that? African ebony, I think. It's like a almost pitch black, extremely hard wood. Full tang knife, brass bolsters, and then this shape was not the way it started out. It actually had a point, but during the grinding process, because it started out as a hollow grind, and then I flat ground it later, and yes, this is what we ended up with. But still, very functional knife. Very nice, but yeah, not something that I would sell to anybody, but this was my first real knife, if we think about it like that. Then, also again with the carving on the, what do you call this, on the sheath. I don't know why that was so popular when I was doing this. Brass rivets, I suppose I had a lot of those. And then look at this interesting thing here. You thread your belt through this whole loop thing over here, and then this is a full flat grind knife. The knife is actually quite extremely functional. Okay, it folds the handle nicely, it's quite sharp. All of these started out quite thick, so it was quite a lot of grinding to get it like this. Okay, so this one I'm actually quite proud of. This is a nice knife and it works wonderfully. Then the whole bushcraft craze. Okay, now this was initially my take on bushcraft, but the knife has got nothing to do with bushcraft whatsoever. But the sheath is quite bushcrafty. Although it almost killed me, I will explain now. This one. This you loop across your, like a sash, you loop it across your neck, and then in here we have a space for our ferro rod and magnesium block thing. Also a lighter on the side, And then this knife. This knife was actually based on a, what do you call it, a Puma. I think it's a Puma White Hunter. The scales on this one is made from buffalo horn, if I can remember correctly. Okay, so it's horn with brass. Never put your knives away in their sheaths, because there's something in the leather, something during the tanning process that will corrode, or not corrode, but rust. What do you call rust for brass? Anyway, that oxidize your brass, and then it will look dull like that. But this is still a fantastic knife. This is like a specialized grind that I think I'm the only person in the world to ever do it. It's like a zero grind, but convex zero grind. I don't think that's actually something, but anyway, so I made this knife. I love this. This is a wonderful little butcher knife. I've never actually butchered anything with it, but I did cut quite a lot of meat with it. It fits the hand fantastically. It's got some jimping at the back. It's a wonderful knife. Okay, doesn't really have a piercing point, but that's not what it was made for. But for some other reason, I thought to give this whole bushcraft sheath, that while I was wearing it one day around my neck, I bent over my belt grinder, and if you can see there, the belt caught it and almost decapitated me. So one quick tip, don't wear things around your neck while working with power tools. Okay, next one. Next one up. Knife makers make fixed blades for a long time before they go into any type of folding knives. Okay, here's the reason why. It's difficult. I saw a lot of, what do you call those things? Folding knives, and at that stage, what do you call the things with the thing sticking out where you open it and you hold it open with your hand? Anyway, those type of knives. So I wanted to make one. The sheath came out kind of nice, apart from the piece of metal sticking through it, because unfortunately when you get to, I cannot get on the name now. Anyway, so this was my idea of that. A laminated piece of wood, 2 colors, 2 parts, brass pivots and things, and then lots of jumping everywhere. And then you fold it open like this, and then you have your, I can still not remember the name. Anyway, so it's a nice saber grind on this thing. Quite sharp, quite pointy. It works fine, but unfortunately there's a bit of rattle. If you hold it with your hand, it's fine, but hear that, a bit of rattle. I don't know why I wanted it to flip like this. Okay, friction folder, that's what I was looking for. So this was supposed to be a friction folder, but unfortunately my 4mm thick stock, no friction on it. It's just like that. Okay, after this one, I decided to make my own variation on a hunting knife. Not a hunting knife, but a hunting utility knife. So I came up with this one. Same thing, hang it around your neck, most likely get caught on something and die. But this is the sheath that I made. Looks quite nice, the little sheath. And then my little utility blade. Okay, also saber grind. Very nice, very functional, very sharp. The coating on the blade is actually just as I was quenching it in old motor oil. I just did that a few times so that the blade got this wonderfully black coating on it. Spine is quite sharp, so you can use it to strike ferro rods and the like. And then you see little flecks of red in here. I made this one also with sleeper wood because one of my friends told me that stuff's fantastic. But unfortunately, sleepers are old pieces of, I think, Oregon pine that was laid in tar. So as soon as you start working with them, big chips fall out of them. And then for some other reason, I thought putting red paint in there would solve the problem, and it did, but now I have these red flecks in here and all over the sides. Okay, still wonderful little utility knife. As I said, some of these knives are made from 14C28N and some of them 19C287, because the knife makers close to where I am, they all use this type of steel. So I bought the 14C28N and then I bought the more expensive stuff because I thought, I don't know, I thought I was going to make way better knives than everybody else in the whole world. But apparently 19C27 is a very tough steel, but it does not, what do you call it? It's a very, no, it's not tough at all. It's very hard, but not that tough. So it's got a very grainy texture. So it will have edge forever, but it will break quite easily. So I don't know which is which anymore. Okay, this little one I made. Look at this. Ow. Now, one of my friends, a guy staying in Australia, told me this looks like a little pirate sword. Okay. I quite like this. Again, it's got buffalo horn at the back, big brass bolsters, and then I love this shape. Okay, not the most practical thing in the world, but it feels great in the hand. It can cut. Wonderful looking little knife. Okay, so I really hope you enjoyed my soiree into knife making. Get out, build your own knife. Enjoy your knives and stay safe, happy, and have a good one. Bye-bye.